Back there. All right, we'll start today with Coach Banks. To ask questions, just raise your hand and we'll get a mic. We'll start with Jimmy in the front.
Coach, you've got about 70 tackles for loss, and it's distributed by more than 25 players. Does that suggest your scheme is working, or does that suggest you've got a lot of depth, or maybe both?
Yeah, I think obviously, you try to play to the strengths of your players. So, we pride ourselves in, trying to minimize their weaknesses and, putting those guys in the best possible positions to be successful. So it's more a credit to them, how hard they're playing and, giving the scheme a chance. But really it's all about the kids and how hard they're playing. Those are the guys that are out there making the plays.
Adam, then Ben.
Yeah, just following that up, a defense can be good at a lot of different things. Leading the country in TFLs, where did that kind of rank in what you thought you would be good at coming into the preseason? What were your expectations?
Yeah, again, we obviously wanted to identify the personnel that we had, and figure out, again, how best to utilize those guys. And, in everything we want to do, we want to be aggressive, whether we're in our 4-down, 3-down, depending on what coverage we're in. So, I didn't know. Every year is a new year. We tried again to evaluate the talent that we have, and match it up with the scheme best we can. And, again, to the credit of the kids, they're playing extremely hard, and they're making a ton of plays. So, hats off to those guys.
I mentioned there was a lot of self-scout last week and going back and reevaluating the first 8 games. Do you feel like you learned something going back and watching it, and what do you feel like your defense needs to do to take that next step over these final 4 games?
Well, I think, we try to self-scout every week, to be quite honest with you. We don't try to wait till the bye week or, freaking at halftime. We're trying to evaluate what we're doing, what's working, what's not working. So, it's a ton of things. We'll have enough time to talk about, the improvements we need to make. We're obviously not a finished product. We have a lot of things that, we've obviously worked on over the bye week, and in this conference, every week's a new challenge. So, we evaluated it, but, for the most part, we already had the information and, we're moving forward to try to get better at it.
What are those challenges that Kentucky presents offensively?
Well, they're very physical. They do a really good job of, creating leverage and opportunities, up front with their offensive line. Those guys are experienced, they're big, the backs run extremely hard. The wideouts are long, and they have one that's particularly explosive. So, they do a nice job. They're not probably, the wide open spread team that we've seen out of some of the teams, but, they take their shots, they'll push the ball down the field. And obviously, Levis has played really well for those guys. So we'll have our hands full, but I know our guys are excited about the challenge and they're definitely looking forward to it.
Patrick and Kellyanne in the back.
Coach, you guys really all season, and particularly the last 2 games, done a good job of getting teams into 3rd downs. What do you guys need to do to maybe get off the field more regularly?
Yeah, that's important. Those are some of the things obviously that we've been looking at, from week to week. So, there are a number of things. Obviously continue to put pressure on the quarterback. Obviously covering better, everything goes hand in hand. So, I think it's too much of a global issue that we got to make sure that we're handling. I don't think we can pinpoint one particular, group or one particular scheme. I just think we got to do a better job of obviously understand how many yards they need and don't let them get it. As simple as that. So, but we're definitely working toward to try to get that done.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned that you worked on a lot of things in the bye week. What did you work on, and did you accomplish what you wanted to get done in that bye week?
Yeah, again, from what he just mentioned, we obviously work situational football, whether it's red zone, 3rd down, we obviously work some normal down, different personnel groups. It's just like camp, you go through the whole gamut to try to, make sure that you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's. And, you said, did we get better? Did we get it accomplished? We'll obviously find out these last 4 games coming down the backstretch. So, but at the end of the day, like we tell those guys every day, to get better, it starts in practice, and, those guys work extremely hard. So if we just continue to stay the course, at some point, we're going to get to the other side. So I know our kids believe that, and we definitely believe that as coaches. So we'll keep grinding, and I know those guys will as well.
West and Mike.
Tim, when your defense is about to play an offense that's had some serious turnover issues,
do you almost have to tell your guys, listen, I want you to be aggressive, but don't be too aggressive. Just kind of go play the game. Don't kind of get your eyes too big that you're losing sight of the point here.
Yeah. No, I don't. We don't ever say don't be aggressive, you know. But the reality of it is, we know things. You know, yeah, they have turned the ball over some, but they've also had some games where they've done a great job protecting the ball. So we just got to do what we do, you know, and be great at it, you know. And obviously, if we can knock the ball loose or get some interceptions or strip the ball, you know, that's what we're trying to do on every snap. You know, that's what we're trying to do in every game. So this game is no different. You know, we're going to do what we do and try to do it at a high level.
Team, what was your experience with Will Levis at Penn State, and how many opportunities did you have to kind of coach against him, I guess, in scout team situations, and how is he different now than he was then?
Yeah, you know, Levis is a tremendous young man. You know, really enjoyed my time around him. You know, tremendous athlete, you know, big, can run, super strong arm. You know, he seems like he's a lot more comfortable, you know, in terms of throwing the ball. You know, he's always had a strong arm, but he seems to show more poise. And I think that just comes with maturity and the more reps he's gotten. But, you know, I've always thought he had a chance to be a really good player and an elite player. And he's obviously done a great job at Kentucky this season and helped those guys, you know, win a bunch of games.
Rob, then back to Jimmy.
Coach, Matthew Butler played at a higher level than he ever has here, and also maybe playing more snaps than I've ever seen the defensive lineman play before. Just what can you say about the kid, how he's taking his game to another notch, and also just the workload?
Yeah, I can't say enough about Butler. I mean, but again, what you see on Saturdays is what we see every day in practice. You know, he's relentless with his work ethic. You know, he was the same way in the spring. You know, he just wants to be good, you know, and it's refreshing, you know, because sometimes you have guys that are, you know, ultra talented, but they don't quite work at the level they need to work at. But I think because of the way he trains and the way he takes care of his body, it's allowed him to play, you know, obviously a lot of reps. Now, do we want to play him in that many reps? You know, in a perfect world, you love to have, you know, even more depth where you can get him some, you know, some breathers. But at the end of the day, you know, as long as he can handle it, you know, we're going to continue to play him. And so far, he's handled it very, very well.
Coach, you mentioned that Will Levis can run, and I wonder if you've had trouble with the mobile quarterback. So have a lot of teams. But do you expect because of that you might see more running from the quarterback, not just from Kentucky, but other quarterbacks down the road?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, typically, you know, if you struggle with anything on tape, you know, the offense the following week, you know, finds a way to put it in their scheme. So, you know, we're aware of it. You know, and like I said, I know he can run it. You know, they haven't run him a ton all year, but he has scrambled, you know, and made some guys miss and guys have fell off of him. So our guys are very aware, you know, how strong he is and that he can run. So. We worked very hard, you know, the bye week and this week to try to shore up some things. But, you know, obviously we got to do it in the game. So.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.